So how do we ensure that everybody pays their fair share of tax? If you are registered as a taxpayer in South Africa and you have a job, the money disappears out of your pay packet before it even arrives in your account. You may take offense to the fact there are many people who don't pay their taxes, many people who dodge their taxes, many people who simply fly under the radar. We've been hearing for years that SARS wants to clamp down on these guys, and we don't see any action on it. Occasionally there might be a raid on a political party leader's neighbor's house, for example. That's very nice showmanship, but it's not tackling the real nub of the issue, which is there are lots of people in this country who simply don't pay their fair share. How do you deal with that?
So first of all, I think SARS needs to be better plugged into those activities so that it has the information. And I think some of that information, sadly, may not have been used to follow through and have those involved.
You're talking about corruption within SARS and people being complicit in this
Well, there would have been
activity.
people in the system that have been bought out and co-opted and corrupted, as state capture has done.
And that's very hard to prevent.
It uses people in the system to be complicit. And so we have to address that. But secondly, there's also today, there's technology available to track and trace and to therefore differentiate between goods that are legitimately imported and priced and taxed and those that slip in under the radar. But I also have to say, every single one of us, so if you buy a packet of cigarettes that you know, and I know you really having this yearning to take that puff, and you only have $10 in you, so you buy that. Know that you are part of the problem, not part of the solution. It's no different to paying a bribe when the cop stops you.
Yeah.
And so, it's easy for us to point the finger at the visible leaders who perpetrate this, but ultimately, every single one of us, it can't be fashionable if you sit around the braai on Saturday or the dinner table and boast about how you have cheated the system.
Anecdotally, I'm told of people who go to those kinds of dinner parties, and they go and people brag about this stuff. Very high-profile people who brag about this sort of stuff. People who say, well, what are the odds of being caught anyway? And why should I pay my taxes when this guy is clearly running a criminal enterprise and doesn't pay his taxes? That's the trouble. People who are caught in the legitimate net are resentful about the people who are outside that net, who somehow at the school drop-off or dropping off little Johnny or little Sizwe in a car 4 times the size of the family jalopy, which needs another service, and there's not enough money to service it because the marginal rate went up to 45%.
Well, exactly, but you remember the time when the Minister of Finance and the Commissioner was able to make these announcements about tax rebates and lower the effective tax rates. If SARS becomes an effective and efficient organization, then hopefully in the future we can look at that again. And
you know tax theory. You understand tax theory. You understand human nature. You've studied a lot of this sort of stuff. You know that in countries with lower tax rates, generally collections tend to improve. There's less incentive for people to pay expensive advisors to help dodge the tax, less incentive to hide away the money. People are, by nature, more compliant.
Actually, that's not quite true. Some of the highest countries in terms of tax compliance are some of the highly taxed countries. If you think of the Nordic countries. But it's
very different society.
But and that's my point. It's the systemic nature. All of these things are interconnected. So it's the public good and services that is provided that makes you feel better about paying your tax. It is the fact that you feel safe, the fact that you can go and enjoy. And so unless, and I think this is the seriousness that we have, unless we fix the entire system, then the weakest link.
Why is the EFF so scared of you?
You have to ask them. I can't speak for them.
I mean, they came out with a statement the other day, made a host of allegations, which Trevor Manuel, who was finance minister, you grew up with him in Kensington on the Cape Flats, that you two are relatives and this is clearly nepotism and all that sort of stuff. Those denials are in the public domain. This is the sort of distraction, though, that you're either going to go down the rabbit hole after, or you're going to be able to ignore. Are you going to be able to ignore it and let other people fight those fights?
I am going to remain single-mindedly focused on this big challenge ahead of me. I cannot be...
Which makes you even more scary for people who are worried about your appointment.
I cannot be distracted, Bruce. My gewete is skoon. My conscience is clean. I've not appointed myself. And there's a transparent process on the Treasury website that they can go. There's a Nugent Commission report. I am single-mindedly committed, without fear or favor, to do this job that I've been given to do.
12 months from now, once you've had a full year in office as SARS Commissioner, how will we as tax-paying South Africans be able to judge your success or lack of it?
I think first of all, and that starts by re-engaging the staff and re-engaging the public very quickly to ensure that we stabilize SARS and begin to put in place some steps and measures that can begin to turn around that revenue loss that has declined, the trust loss that is eroded, the confidence in SARS leadership. And hopefully we can sit here a year from now and begin to see the measurable turnaround of success by people in SARS speaking a different language, the public's language beginning to change, and very importantly, the revenue decline slowly being seen to have reversed.
Leadership matters. One individual can make a difference. We saw the impact of Moyane on SARS. We saw the impact of Zuma on politics. We've seen that happen. You've seen the impact through parastatals of individuals being able to destabilize SOEs, for example. What makes you, Edward Kieswetter, the right guy for SARS right now?
I don't know how to give up. And so quite frankly, I think more than anything, I love South Africa. And right now, I think SARS is one of the toughest jobs, but also one of the most important institutions to fix up. And I just don't know. Equally, as I couldn't say no, I don't know how to give up. And I will call on every help, use every resource at my disposal. I know that I cannot do this alone. I need all the help I can get. But we will be absolutely resolved to ensure that we can restore and surpass the former glory of the South African Revenue Service.
Yep, you've been warned. The incoming SARS Commissioner, Edward Kieswetter, taking stock with us here on ENCA this evening. Thank you very much for watching. If you missed part of the interview or you want other people to see the interview, it will be up on our YouTube channel as well. Edward Kieswetter, thank you very much. We'll see whether or not South Africans are as excited about his appointment 12 months from now as they were on the day that his appointment was announced. Good night.